down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
All right, party people, here we go. Hiring a property manager, part 2. Well, how many rentals, that's the question that I get all the time. How many rentals should you ready to have a property manager? When you should hire a property manager. How many rentals? What's the number? Does anybody remember last month? 1. Who said that?
Me.
Pretty smart guy. Yeah, you should always, the point of that is that you should factor that in. And it depends on where you're at. Now, I manage 50 properties by myself 10 hours a week. Maybe 15 hours when I'm evicting somebody. Okay? That's the gauge. You should be able to, if I was working with you, I'd be like, look, 25 units is the number you should get to before you should move on. Now, this is how I do my mathematical equation on this deal. You should factor in day one 10%. Now, you should pocket this money, but you should factor that in. Everybody understand what I'm saying? So if it's a $600 rental, you should take $60 off in your mind. And I do this on my ledger today. I pay myself through one LLC and I put it through another LLC. Okay? For multiple purposes, this is not that class, but okay? Now, when that number gets up to a full-time person, how much is a full-time person? Come on, man.
3,000 or
3,000?
I don't know.
Now, you don't live in Oklahoma.
Are you talking about in your
Come on, somebody throw out, what's a full-time salary for somebody? Who said, I heard a number.
2,000.
2,000. What? $10 an hour? Who said $10 an hour? Okay, there you go. Do the math. Come on, guys. Dude, this is elementary. 40 hours times 10. Let's just say 12. Let's be generous. 12. What's that? Math? Wizard? Matt? Guys, get your freaking calculator out. This is a class.
$2,000.
$2,000. Okay, we'll just, guys are soft. Come on, guys. $2,000. Okay? How many gross units? So you figure it out. You just gotta figure it out. So if you bring in $60,000 a month, how much is that? 10% of that.
6,000.
How many people do you think you're able to hire?
1.
3 or 1, right? Okay. So whenever it feels comfortable, when the pain is enough, but you should be able to run 10 units, 10 houses pretty simply by yourself. When you get to 25, you start losing people's names. Okay. So it's all about what it is. So the first thing you need to do is what? Factor in the money. Now, why do you factor in the money? Well, one day, hopefully, you will reap all the benefits and all the sacrifices that you made, and you didn't buy that TV, and you didn't buy that Range Rover, and you saved that money, you bought real estate, and then you let it mature for 3 to 5 years, and you're going to disappear for a month, right? Your dream is to go to Europe, right? Well, now you're going to probably hire a property manager somewhere along the line. And so now you have that number in place. What is it worth to you? Do you want freedom or you want to be a slave? So what's up to you? But day one, you should always be hiring a manager. Day one, I always tell people you should have software. Okay? Don't do spreadsheets. If you have a spreadsheet, first of all, you can't get money if you don't have a spreadsheet. If you want to borrow money from a bank, you're going to have to show them your portfolio. The portfolio is 1 house or 10 houses, right? You need to get the spreadsheet rolling out, but don't manage your properties off the spreadsheet. That's how you started. I know.
I don't manage my properties anymore.
Okay. All right. Now, yes.
Hey, what was the name on your podcast this week? You were talking about some software. What was that again?
Rentolutions. It's rental solutions, but rental with solutions at the end. Rentolutions. I'm tired, for real, so I cannot speak well. Come on, big dog. You're like 10'10". Just sit up here. You rub me. A friend of mine just started that. I actually logged in there, didn't have a credit card. I've been playing with it. It's been really good. If you're a small real estate investor, Cozy is another one. COZY is another great little software. If you got 10 units and above, you should probably try Buildium. Or if you got 40 units and above, and you can afford $200 a month, you should probably go to Appfolio. But there's some really even better ones than Appfolio out there. Okay, those are just some. But you should be adding. It should be on a spreadsheet first, And then it needs to be on the cloud from day one. Okay? All everything. How do you set the rental rate? We won't speed this up. How do you spend the rental rate? Matt.
Market.
Okay, how do you get the rent? How do I know how much my house is worth?
Rentometer.com.
Rent a meter. Where else? Zillow. Drive around, look at a sign, call somebody. And then what should you price it at? You got to go back to listen to the first episode.
Section8.com has a comparables on there.
Section8.com. Thank you. Okay, to be real savvy, what should you rent it for? How much lower? A little bit lower than the average idiot. Most landlords are greedy.
50.
Some people do 50. I'm just saying, you want to rent this unit out, you got to think about lost opportunity. If your house sits for 1 month, was it worth it? $25 left ammed over 12 months? Okay. Plus that tenant's probably not going to move, because when they start looking, they'll see everyone's $75 more than you. By the time a year goes by, their rent should be up by 50, and you're already down 25. Man, I have tenants in there for 7-10 years. But sad when they just moved out, and I'm like, this chick's only been paying $700, and that's a $900 house. Well, I'm not mad. I still cash flow. All right. What type of properties do you manage? Okay. Oh, these are the questions that you need to ask a property manager. Okay. Find out if you're going to consider hiring a property manager. That's what this whole subject is about. Sorry, I was telling you how to be a property manager. My bad. So let me change gears here. This is hiring property manager part 2. So you as the goal of the class today is that you are a real estate investor and you're out of state. You're a real estate investor and you're a full-time musician or a contractor or a doctor or an attorney. Okay? You got to put those heads on in your mindset. These are the questions that you should be asking them. How many rentals do you manage? What's a good number for a good property manager? No, how many units does someone else? So I'm interviewing Ellen. Ellen, how many? Don't tell me how many houses you have. Property manager, what's a good number that you think is comfortable that they own?
Less than 100.
Less than 100? Anybody else? The consensus last time was 100. Ask them how do they set their rental rate? What type of properties do you manage? That's a very important factor. Okay? So me personally, I manage property all the way from hood all the way up to 2,000. Okay? So I'm not your property manager. That's why I don't manage other people's property. It's all over the place. So we have systems in place that we try to spin across all of them. But if this property manager does a lot of low income, they may be offensive to a high-end person, which is fine. Again, like I said earlier in the beginning, a low-income tenant and a high-income tenant are the same in level of correspondence. Does that make sense? The level of work that goes into those two tenants, and over here it's a lot more zeros. Okay? Local housing laws, are they an investor? Are you an investor yourself? You guys need to go back to that episode that was last month. It goes into, that was a big hot topic. Should they be an investor themselves? Anybody want to take a gander at that? Yes or no? And all people say, if the guy's a property manager, should he be an investor?
No.
Raise your hand if yes for no. Raise your hand for yes if you should be a real estate investor. Okay? Consensus was a no. Why? Conflict of interest? Okay. So you notice the other property manager didn't come back. Did you notice that?
I have a comment.
That dude didn't come back because I blasted him.
This big property manager says, I get 10% over market. He does, but the reason he does is because he lets in trades that are desperate, they have eviction background, blah, blah, blah. They will pay more, and they'll move into a piece of crap, too.
And then another thing is like, okay, it's like a realtor. I've been dealing with a bunch of retail realtors lately. It's been a fun experience in my life. Wow, is all I got to say. They're in another planet. I just love what they tell you what you should be doing with your money. Right? This property manager she's talking about, they have a claim that says we get 10% higher than the average?
Market.
Market. Wow, that's a sales pitch. Now, if you're a greedy little landlord, which we probably are, you're going to jump on that one. You're going to get 10%. You know what they're going to say as soon as you get the contract? You need to read these contracts. Well, you got to change the carpet. Oh, you got to put a new vanity in. Oh, sounds like a retail realtor to me. Well, all of a sudden, that 10% more property, absolutely. But it's going to take you $3,000 to $5,000 more, plus the 10%, plus the move-in acquisition fee, plus all that. By the end of the day, guess who you're working for? That property manager. And you're the only smart people. There's only 30, 40 people in this room that even understands how to deal with the property manager. And you take the time out of your day.
They're going to do the repairs and charge you.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is a question you should ask. You should ask for yourself and ask the property manager. Monthly fee structure should I expect? This is all in the back of your sheet. If you don't know that, all in the back of this little flyer. You need to ask them, how much do they charge to do this? What's a trip charge? What happens if someone comes out and they can't get into the property? But I've been dealing with some property managers and they don't even have the keys. Like, we're on a property and they lost the key. Like, I'm serious. If I ever hire a property manager again, if you can't deliver the keys to me at a certain time, I'm charging you $500. Seriously. This happened to me twice with the same property manager. I acquired these properties, 7 of these properties. I think 5 of them were left with the property manager. 1 was an eviction when I took these over. This mother didn't have the keys. Didn't have the, we lost them. What you mean you lost them? But in their person's contract, it says, if I decide to sell the property at any time, guess what? I pay them a commission. Yeah, did you write that down?
It's not enforceable, but
it's illegal.
But most people
it's
don't
illegal.
know that.
But most average people don't know that. And they'll force it upon you because they're a realtor / property manager / I know everything and you don't know nothing. You should be proud. Put your hand together. Everybody, put your hand together. You came here. We're going to spill. By the time I leave here, I got 45 minutes. We're going to spill it all out. Every property manager going to hate me. Is there any properties? They didn't come back last time. Is there any property managers in here? Want to be ones? I know you.
There was a bunch of people here who wanted to be one, but after
There was like 4 or 5 in here. Not one of them came back. That's why. They said they're stunt double. All right.
That tells you
I'm going to throw them out the window on the 3rd floor for a specific reason. Okay. You know, how do you market your rentals? I just did a podcast on it. A good friend of mine said, good job on the podcast. You need to listen to that. You need to ask them. It just happened like 2 days ago. It's really good. I cover 8 things on how you should market your rental. One of them that you're not thinking about is bulletin boards, word of mouth, incentivizing. If you call me, I'm not on active, but you call another property manager and say, hey, do you have any? It's funny. There's actually really good property managers out there. They're rare, but they're out there, and they bother me because they're so good. Right? They're like, hey, let's have lunch. Oh, okay. So I go over there. I'm like, dude, how's your vacancy rate? We're at 100. I'm like, I'm choking to death over here, and he's got 100. Just something doing something wrong. That's why I'm having lunch with the guy, for real. But hey, by the way, if you refer somebody to me, I'd love to give you $100 cash right now. Go call somebody. Help a brother out. Serious.
I'll wait.
Send you the
Hey, let me see your phone. I'll dial it for you.
Have you done any research on your ideal tenant? What that tenant looks like, so you can identify that tenant?
I don't know what drugs you're on today.
Oh, there is an ideal tenant.
He said, what's the ideal tenant? What? I mean, I think it's a personality.
No, I'm serious. Robert Elder did a lot of research one time on what his ideal tenant looked like.
Well, this is fun.
This
is fun, Pat.
like, but what-
Since you got a cane and a knee
No,
brace
is that the
on,
Section 8 tenant or the
you
non-section?
seem like an
These
ideal
are very
tenant to me
effective.
for a
He's
lawsuit.
collecting rent. These are very effective at collecting rent.
Was
I
that
fall
the
down my
section?
steps out here.
Yeah, it could be. I can sue you. I might do that on my way out.
It's already happened. It's already
I
happened.
hate being second line.
I mean, ideal tenant, that's a great question, though. I mean, serious, take a second. What is your ideal tenant? You should know. It's like your culture. You know, when I started 20 years ago, man, I was desperate. Man, I have people around me. I have a checks and balance system now. I was almost about to rent to this person, and my checks and balance person said, whoa, whoa, whoa. Pumped the brakes on me. You know, why are they moving over here? It's a counseling situation. Oh. And he's like, the price is what it is. Why are you going to discount it? And it seems like it's going to be more. It could be more. You see, there's checks and balances because if you're emotional. So the way I did business 20 years ago, I do not do that type of business. So ideal tenant. Anybody want to take a political approach to this? Because it is recorded. This will be on live on the internet, and I have been death threatened before.
2 years on the job and
2 years on the job.
no fast food unless they're a manager.
Okay. That's a good
Come
start.
on, man.
It's a pay.
He said he didn't like McDonald's.
When I did it, my ideal Section 8 tenant.
See, this
was
is where
female.
I'm going to spell your name and your social number.
She was
That's offensive to somebody.
You do actually
50
have
and
it.
70.
Huh?
I did this. Robert Dunner got me to do it. My ideal tenant was female, between 50 and 70, hopefully with one or less, or no children or one. She generally was overweight, and she was generally unattractive. And that was because no man was mad enough to kick the door in when she locked him out.
You're still married, homie?
Nobody married her and took her away to the south of France.
Damn.
She could
Shut
stay
your
a
mouth
long
now.
time
Let's
on
just
her
shut your
rent
mouth
because
now,
She wasn't
man.
going to die too quick.
That's like saying Hispanic, which my wife is Hispanic, so I can say it. But for real, my ideal tenant is Hispanic.
You bet.
I
Absolutely.
mean,
That's the truth.
I don't know if I can get in trouble for saying that, but I'm married to one, so it's all
I
good.
like it.
But I'm just
Don't
saying.
discriminate.
But I mean, I have very now.
I'm not
There's bad
discriminating. I'm
people
just
in all
accelerating
races
my
and all
improvement.
colors and all sizes and shapes.
In the last 10 years, it's changed a
You know,
lot.
I have a
because
1 to
it used
10
be
approval rate.
anybody
That's a
could
3 right there.
Hey.
in Hispanic.
Anybody could buy a house 10 years ago, and now it's changed, and the
Yeah.
market changed, and so
Yeah.
you have a lot more white collar workers who are renting homes too. It's not
Yeah.
just where it used to be. This is my step till I own a home. Now it's I had a home, I lost a home, and now I need a place to live. So there's a lot of things that play
Yeah,
into
I mean,
that.
I think too. It's like when I used to see an attorney, I used to run.
Yeah.
And like I
You need to keep
operated a service-based business, and we do it by contract, and it's just like I don't even want to deal with the guy, right? I mean, it just seems like they're always trying to puff it up or let me get back with and I just avoided those type of people because I was uneducated myself. Now, would I do business with an attorney per se? I don't know. It just depends on the situation, it's the character. But listen, there's no perfect tenant. Like, I don't know what drugs you're on, but you're not on the good ones
But
because
you need to understand something
they're
about
not
what
working.
you're marketing too, though.
Because, like, I go to church and I'm a Christian. Oh, good for you. Whoopie woo, whoopie woo, whoopie woo. But I know pastors that own businesses would not do business with churches because they don't pay.
Yeah.
I mean, but like, that's sad, right? I go to church. I love Jesus. So I can't. That offends me. But it's the truth. They don't pay their bill because they think they're getting a free ride on somebody. But I had a couple. They were Christian, and what does Christian mean, right? But the next thing you know, dude, they hammered me,
Yeah.
right? So I don't care what you are, but I'm gonna do my due diligence, and that's the question you should ask your property manager. How do you vet out? Number one, we're moving on because I'm done with this subject. Number one, how do you screen the person? What's your policy? You, the property, I'm getting there, to you, property manager, please break down your policy of how you screen them. Okay? Because this is, I think, a very critical mass on running your units. Because you're the one that's responsible. You're the one that the insurance is in your name. When you hire this property manager, they're an extension of you. If they have a scandal, you're affected. Okay? So you need to be cautious in how they screen, and you need to really listen to what they're saying. Okay? Now, it's all cool, and I can be sexy up here and say, hey, man, I go on Facebook, and I look at court documents and stuff. But I mean, like, are you pulling credit reports, and are you legally able to? Right? There's ways around that. Right? The law used to be you had to have it locked in a file cabinet and all this other jazz. Now, technology has superseded that. But I would just find out, like, legitimately, like, don't say anything, don't assume anything. If you want to pre-qualify somebody real fast, hey, how do you screen them?
Screening or screaming.
Yeah, yeah. And I just think that's the most important component of it, because you're married to that person. You're in a contract to that individual. It can go really well. It's just like on a real estate transaction. I trusted this realtor, and I listed my house with this realtor. I was emotional because he found me a house that I wanted, and I moved into it, and I was like, I thought he did a good job. But the guy lied to me from day one. I'm going to have an open house. Didn't have an open house. I'm going to do marketing. I mean, I'm a marketing person. Didn't have Craigslist. Didn't do anything. And I was like, I was homies with this dude. I played basketball with this dude all the time. Hey, man, this ain't working out, homie. Like, I'm in real estate. This is what I do. Yeah. But I'm not on MLS. I'm going to do you a solid. He wouldn't let me out of the contract. So then I called the broker, I almost cursed. So the broker called me. Yeah, we're gonna take care of it. We'll get over there. Never heard from that dude again either. I was tracked for 6 months that a house is sat vacant. For 6 months, right? Do you think I like realtors to this day? No, I don't. I'm scared of them because they say stuff. They say stuff, and it's happened to me as a property manager too. They say that they're the best property manager. They say they have 100 units. They say, but then when you sign a contract, because you're going to sign a contract with them, it's a different thing. So if you want to be like, I'm getting psycho now, 40-something years old, I'm getting real psycho. Show me how. I want to see your policy on how you screen them. I would like to see your policy on how you market the property. I mean, because it's your asset. You work so hard for this stuff, and then we get punked in courtroom because you're a zillionaire because you own one house, right? It just seems like the word landlord's like a negative word. Every time I see the word landlord, I know people think it's terrible. And it was funny, I posted this on Facebook, and this chump on there said, my landlord should go to this meeting, right? I mean, isn't that funny? That's awesome. Maybe they're homies, I don't know. But listen, when you sign a contract with hiring a manager, you're bound to that. And the number one thing, I don't know where it is, but I'm getting ahead of myself. You need to find out, it's on the second column to the bottom, number 3. How do I cancel this contract and make sure it's very clear? Okay? If it's a certified, because when I purchased these properties, these 7 properties, I thought I was somebody, and it turned out to be like, thank God I had an attorney friend ride on with me. But man, we couldn't get out of the contract, and I fought that dude for a minute, and I'm like, this is not. We'll just let this ride out. But you need to be clear if you're gonna hire someone, even if it's a contractor. I would definitely have a clause in there if we're not happy for any reason, and that's how I do business now. Like if you hire me or whatever, it's like you can cancel anytime. You don't need to sign a contract with me. If you want to sign a contract with me, that's great, but you can cancel anytime. I think that's what the millennials want these days. I think that's what the future is. Put your money where your mouth is. Show me you're going to do your job. I would love to have my house listed right now, right? But they're not going to list it without what? Contract. And what does that contract say?
You owe them money.
No, it's a favorite word. It starts with an E. Starts with an E. Exclusive. Or exclusive unless you bring somebody. Or okay. So insurance. Ask the people, the property manager, do you have insurance? Do you have liability insurance? I read a contract the other day from a property manager in Oklahoma City. They require you, landlord, to put them on their insurance rider. Pretty savvy. Well, where's my insurance for me when your worker gets naked on a property and goes to the bathroom in the bushes? Has that ever happened before? How do you handle that? I'm serious. You need to figure this out. Ask them what errors and emission is. And then, so there's a lot of independent brokers out there that are trying to be property managers, and make sure that they're still carrying errors and emissions. I'm tired, man. This ain't gonna go well. We got 33 minutes. I'm gonna be on time too. Ask them what their retention is. How long they have the tenants, how long they've been doing it, and then do your normal due diligence. Call the landlord. Who's the landlord? I pretty much know a lot of landlords. So if you're trying to interview a property manager, you could probably ask somebody. They know somebody. Somebody knows somebody. Okay. What's your retention? What's your occupancy rate? How do you handle inspections? And when do you do them? I would go back and listen to the podcast because I'm giving you brush strokes here. Broad strokes. Breast, broad, same thing. All right. Your fees.
Getting a sloppy paint job.
Man, I don't know. All of a sudden I got exhausted. I don't know what. My life changed today, but dang, I didn't know my heart rate would change.
Inspection meaning they have to move in, or
yeah, like we've changed our business model at our company. Well, what happened was just recently just happened. So I had a tenant. I think they might have been on Section 8. I don't remember. I think they were getting assistance somehow. I'm not sure if it was, but they moved into the property, and they were always late. It's a great location. I mean, they were late. I would love to look at their statement. Probably all the time. And you know,
You get late fee income off of them? Or?
yeah, but that's not that's not my business model. That's a lot of people's business model. I despise the late fee, to be honest with you. I don't get juicy when I get a late fee because I look like right now I would love in my account. I know there's some delinquency. Someone just bounced out. I just got an email. One of somebody bounced out of a midnight run. But anyway, this guy moved in, and I think 2-3 years went by. It was slow. We jammed him up a couple times, and he paid on time. Just a typical, normal, kind of a $500 rental. 3 years scrolls by. Water heater don't work. Okay, we sent a guy out there. The water heater doesn't work because there's roaches in the igniter. Or, VanCauwenbergh. All right, change it out.
You mean bugs, right?
I don't know what the hell. Not weed. You smoke too much. So how do you? That's like 1980s. Come on, they don't say it no more. I don't even know what they say now. So, no big deal. But I'm like, already three years deep in the deal. I can't get them out, right? And they're paying, and they're on some sort of their money's coming in. It's consistent. It's just not consistent enough for me for my business model. So I'm rolling. I see him on my little eviction list every once in a while. I know he'll pay, right? We got those.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I know they'll pay. Mm-hmm. Well, they finally give it a notice. 7 years later. 7 years later, the dude we dealt with this for 7 years. Oh, you went to that crib? Yeah. I had to gut the whole thing out. Seriously. I think I spent $15,000. I don't even know where I'm at with it.
From the roaches.
This is this everything. I mean, I have the pictures. I should put them on Facebook because they're just amazing. It's amazing. Like I can't believe. Like I've seen everything.
I don't know.
In that house.
I thought no. I mean, in life.
You're pretty young.
I mean, I've seen a lot. I mean, guys, I've seen people shot. I mean, I'm telling you, I've been on the road. I was in a band. I've seen a lot of stuff, man. But I didn't see this. And I realized where I failed is I didn't do inspections. Where I lost $15,000, and I made $500 or $600 a month for the 7 years and paid for the house a couple times over. It's all right. But the thing is, man, I'm all about number 5, inspecting. Like it's a mandatory in my organization. Every month we're going and looking at a house. It is the property manager's job. Like you won't work here. See ya. You don't gotta. Sorry, you ain't working here. Well, it is in our business model. I can't remember. We have 150 units. I can't remember what the numbers is. You am that over 12 months. We're going to at least a house every year, and I can see it going. I see because I look into the machine and I see
12 houses a month.
Yeah, they're going 12 houses a month right now. That's our job. So break that down. That's 3 houses a week, right? That's exactly right, because that's the number I kept coming up, 3. Every week they're going to look at 3 houses. Somebody is. And my organization is looking at 3 houses. And we're going to prevent that $15,000 mistake. And if we catch somebody dirty, not doing it right, lease violation, you get 10 days to correct that. That's the law. And then boom, you out. I'd rather get you out now, cost me $2,000 instead of $15,000 later. Because if I get them out, guess what? The market's really hot right now. I guess I can sell it, and that's what I was doing. I was selling just recently. I've been selling houses when they're coming up due, because I depreciated it out. I don't know if this is advanced for you, but I depreciated it out as far as I can go. Did you know in Oklahoma, if you own a house for 5 years, you don't have to pay sales tax, Oklahoma tax on it? Thank you, accountant, for not telling me. Hopefully you listen to that deal.
Say that again?
5 years, if you hold the property in Oklahoma, you don't have to pay
Oklahoma
tax on it. Yeah, thanks. CPA.
One thing I've always looked at is look inside a person's car. That's always a telltale sign of.
Yep.
Did you ever look at that person's car?
Yeah, I mean, I have a whole system. I knock on their door. Like when I had nothing going down, I would drive up and swoop up on somebody and knock on their door at their house. Hey, let's make sure verification. Oh, you can't come in. All right, you ain't renting. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's all kinds of tricks in time, but it depends on where you're at. If you got 10 units, you can do it. If you got a full-time job, yeah, looking at the car is a great technique. But there's no rule of thumb, and like the laws are changing, and look what happened in Virginia. I mean, it's just a sad deal, right? The whole thing. I'm not on this. I don't even comment on it. But that's just where we're going. We're all angry at everybody, and so I don't want to judge you because you got a dirty car. Because if you look at my car right now, it's dirty, and to my standard, So, but it's a good technique, and I think you should trust your spirit. If you don't feel good about somebody, here's some real quick rules of thumb. If they're last minute, they're no good.
Gotta have a place.
If they don't have the deposit, they no good. Here's your ideal tenant. They're looking 60 days out, 45 days out. A good tenant, ideal tenant is they're going to put in a proper 30-day notice. What's a proper 30-day notice, Matt?
Includes a full calendar month and the rest
Full
of this.
calendar. Listen to what he's saying. Full calendar. On or before the 1st. It's not on the 2nd. The 25th is when you should do a 30-day notice. So someone strolls in my crib at the office. Hey, I get my 30-day notice. It's the 15th. I'm moving on the 15th. No, yeah, okay. You're paying 45 days, not 2 weeks. Or they come in on the 5th. Hey, give my 30 day. That don't work like that. And a lot of landlords lay down. I talked to a landlord the other day about it. They use deposit. That's illegal. The favorite word is fiduciary. How you say it? Fiduciary. Yeah, whatever. F-U. That's what it means to me. F-U-D.
You mean you don't have the 3-strike rule? I had this lady yesterday told me, she said, I thought I got 3 strikes to do something, violate the law 3 times.
See, some landlord communicated them wrong. We got the 5-star.
We got we renting houses.
We got the 5-star program, but those are all good techniques. You should just trust yourself. You need to look on Facebook. I mean, you Google them up. If you could listen to my podcast, I'll give you some websites that'll blow your mind. FamilyTree.com. What was the last one I just did? Quanky. Did you hear that podcast? You guys don't know about that one? Quanti. I probably spelled it wrong. Or Quanki. It will blow your mind. It's worse than the last one. I mean, I'm talking about people that you said hi to were on there. It is so, talking about your girlfriend you dated, she's on there. Oh, yeah.
You want to listen to it then?
It's just on. You can find anybody. That website is scary. It's in South Africa. It's free. I can find out where you live right now. I can get your kids' names, their ages. It will blow your mind. I did a whole podcast on it. All right. What time is it? All right. It's 12:36. What other services do you do? Here's something I thought that was a conflict of interest. Let me give you one little drama. So this landlord actually goes bankrupt. They go down. They have their probably net worth is about $1 million. But we're talking about $700,000 worth of properties. They only owed $500,000 on them. Okay, what's that number? 70. What's the ratio? Debt to income. Debt to ratio on the properties. 80, 70 something percent, right? Think you do well? Well, when the property manager steals $1,500 a month from you over time, and how do they do that? That's what you need to know. That's why you're here. Let me tell you how they do it. They did it. I read their financials. I acquired these properties. I actually know this friend. She's a sad situation, and reading her financials like crazy. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. How can you have $700,000 worth of property, only owe $500, and be broke all the time? Now, she wasn't paying attention to her finances, right? You should probably have a friend ask, look at my financials every once in a while, just for fun. Don't have your social on there, but just say, hey, I do this all the time. I'll even go to lunch with another banker. Hey, man, what do you think of my portfolio? Even though another banker said it was awesome. Just to see if they see something that I didn't see, because they have different sets of eyes. So I was reading these financials, and I noticed this heat and air repair kept popping up. And I was like, $475. No, it's not $500. $475, a blower motor. And it was billed by this person, this name, CJ. CJ Heat and Air. CJ. C Jizzle the Whizzle. So I got some insider trader information. Well, CJ isn't a staff member there for that company. on staff. Isn't that interesting?
Interesting.
CJ is getting paid a weekly salary to be their maintenance guy, and CJ knows how to fix blower motors for $475. Wow. Do you understand? Are we clear here? Yeah. I mean, I saw a lot of that. And so the question is, what other services do they provide? Yeah, we have a maintenance crew on site, and we bill at this number. Now, what should you look for? Well, there's very anal, detailed people, and there's people that are not paying attention people, right? I don't know what they call those people, but they're not paying attention.
Friends.
I don't know. I mean, I get ripped off all the time, man. I mean, you know,
Friendly victims.
I mean, I get stung all the time. I'm doing a podcast tomorrow on it, on some cabinets I got stung on. And it just happens, right? It's just life. Contractors, it just happens. But I don't even know. The question is like, where are they doing the labor? How are, okay, so the detail people, this property manager is a really good property manager. The bill comes in, he pays the bill, sends it to the landlord, and tacks on a fee to that. That probably sounds like a legitimate way to do it. But there's other landlords out there, they'll take the job and then they bill you for it. Okay? Now, if the billing is accurate and with legitimate, for example, how much does it cost to put in a door?
$100.
$100?
Front door or interior door?
Okay. Contractor. Poor guy. He's about to get hammered.
Good.
He is a retail, right? This is my man. This is my good friend of mine. Dan Myers owns Connect Construction. Construct. I can't spell or read today or speak, but I will be ready Saturday for you. And does quality jobs. Great company. Okay? An average door, exterior door, on a retail, Mr. $100. How much does it cost?
Pulling one out, putting one in?
Yep. I went to Lowe's, bought a door, called you up, saw your ad.
You bought the door or he bought the door?
I bought the door.
$200, $250.
$250. Average is $300, guys. I'm like, that's an average. $300. To get a real good contractor, take off the trim, pull that door out, level that deal. Takes 3 hours. I don't pay that.
I pay $12 an hour, man.
Yeah. Okay, good for
3
you,
or
buddy.
4 hours.
Okay, so anyway, the point is, right? So you got to, first of all, go to this website, homewise.com. You guys know about that. HOMWYSE. That is a great resource if you're just starting out, lady or a gentleman, okay? Because there's gentlemen that don't know construction. That's not me. I don't put crap together, okay? But you can go on there and you by your zip code, it can give you, it's pretty accurate, like on concrete, on doors, on standard. Like I found, guess how much a granite fabricator gets paid now?
25.
25? Okay, what does anybody want to try?
Are you talking about one of the
No, I'm talking about a granite. Back there, you guys are smiling at me because I'm all juicy on the granite. How much? I mean, not the guy you're talking to, the guy that works under him, the guy that shows up at the crib.
$100 an hour.
He said $100 an hour. It's 12. The top of that job is 17. Wow. You're going to touch a $5,000 piece of stone, $5,000 piece of stone, and you're making $15 an hour. Wow. Drop that deal. Like it's
Drop
hot.
the stone all the way. It's a ripoff. All of it is.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Like, cause I'm digging into just weird things right now. Just things I'm like, wow, where have I been? But you got to know what it costs, because when you get to the property, that's why I always suggest people should manage your own property till you get to at least 10 units, 25 units, and then yes, it's going to be hard. You'll probably lose a little money because if you're a doctor, you got weird schedule, or you're an IT wizard and you write code all day and you got nothing going on. That's okay. Tenants usually have jobs. They should have a job too, right? Or they shouldn't be living at the crib. So, but you need to be armed with that information, because that property manager took that whole company down. That girl worked so hard, bought 7 houses, $100,000 a piece, and lost it all because of this property manager knew what the price is, and she didn't. Okay. What business are they in? Where'd they come from? What businesses did they operate before? Why are you a property manager? This is the worst job in the world. Why would you do it? Mm-hmm. How? And now you're talking to the person, the owner. How much are they involved? Do I call you, or do I call Jimmy? And what if Jimmy calls in sick? Who do I call? Who's involved? Who's the team? Okay. These are the questions that you need to ask these people. Because you should do what you do good best. Well, I can't talk, so this is gonna be a horrible deal. Do what you do best, right? If you don't like to pump people, don't go in low income. If you don't like to collect money, you shouldn't be a landlord. Seriously, find out another way to make money, because that's how we make money. They're renting the item, but you don't have to if you don't want to, right? Then you hire a property manager. Okay? There's massive people that own tons of property and don't even know the names of people. Okay, you can too. All right. So the next thing is you got to see their lease. You want to see their lease. Their lease. You should just start collecting leases like I do. I love the lease. There's a lease exchange program that I'm involved in. It's awesome. And I wrote it down because I'm adding this to mine. And I got this in Tulsa. I got a friend in Tulsa. And I was stalking her on Facebook because she had a new baby. And I was like, oh, let me see this little baby. And I saw she advertised her unit on there, on Facebook. I was like, oh, okay. I went to the Facebook. And this is a sales advantage. Thought this was awesome. Get excited. Get your pen out. So this is, I don't know anything about Tulsa. Okay, but this is I know this house because I actually visited this house. It's a $1,300 house on Delaware Street. I don't know where that's. I don't know anything. Or remember where all this is. Oh, you do. You're from Tulsa. Okay, but this was interesting. It said $1,300 rent. Okay, and then it said deposit $1,300. That's what we do, right? Or I do a little bit different algorithm on that. But that was interesting. I stole this line. It said can be paid out over 3 months. Right? Now, do I work with tenants? Depends if they've got solid credit and they've been working at least 2 years or more. I'll work with you in deposit. But or where you came from, how long you live there, then I'll work with you, right? Because I know I'm moving right now and I have 2 payments. Well, I don't because they give you but you see what I'm saying? I'm scared to death. I got to figure that out, right? So I thought that was good. And it was very specific up front. It was 3 months. They know what they're getting into. That's probably a tipping point for me. I probably lost a lot of business, at least 20% of my business, because I'm like, no, we have and this is the problem when you own property manager. I say one thing, they do it. They don't change. I'm like, no, we don't work the deposit off, or we don't negotiate deposit. This is the law. But hey, the law can be adjusted, and it can be adjusted for 3 months, and it'll work great for me. Read their lease entirety. Read the contract in entirety. All right. How do we communicate with you and I? You, Mr. Property Manager. How do we talk? Do you prefer who is that person am I talking to? And I'm a psycho, so everything I do is recorded. Do you record everything? Everything I have, everything I do is recorded. Just so you know. Right? So hopefully he practices that, because you said stuff. We stopped that 10 years ago. Okay? So, and that's why we have all these technology things in our business. We record the leases. When we sit down with somebody, we record that lease. We do. And there's a case log where a guy shows up, speaks perfectly good English, lease is over with, can't speak a damn English. Yeah, I'm not joking. How do you prove that? How do you prove that? Recording. This individual thought he owned the home. He thought he was signing his dream home. And he almost got it for free. Legal aid is a mother. All right.
Do you disclose that or do you record that? Do you?
Absolutely. I'm right up. Hey!
Yeah, okay.
I got 2 of them dual, baby. Stereo. I got nothing to hide. I remember one time I had to sue somebody, and I'm a Christian, and I got hate mail. I can't believe you're suing him. That's not a Christian thing to do. Wow. I said it's the Christian thing to honor the contract. And dude was in a band, drove around the country in your little trailer, and you didn't pay him. I remember being on the witness stand in the court of law where the judge was crushing that person for not paying him. And the judge looked at me and said, is there anything else you want to sue him for? Because now's a good time. Yeah, and they're Christians and I'm a Christian. I didn't want to sue him. I was hard. I was on my knees praying about it. But hey, right? This is why this is the easiest forum. Because I'm not real good at writing and reading, and I'm illiterate. So we'll just keep it real simple, right? And this goes right to Google, right? As soon as we walk out of this building, this is already in the cloud. And it's probably Google has probably 15,000 places and 20 different servers. And anything will never be lost. Okay? So yes, I disclose it right up front. If they don't want to sign it, then we're not signing a lease. This is protection for you and for me. I don't want to say that we're going to give you a discount on your rent. Has that ever happened before? One time, one of my staff had a lease. It said rent was $25 in there. The chick the second month said, "Hey, my rent, my lease says 20." You lost your mind. That's a clerical error, right? But on tape, what does it say? Now you're signing a lease. It's $500 a month for 12 months. Let's add that up. Just like I tried to show you jokers in the beginning. Get your calculator out, because this is how I do my lease. What does that come out to? $6,000, right? Yep. Okay. Now, say 2 months in, you get married, or you become a missionary. I don't know why I'm on a Christian tip, but anyway, you go out and be, somebody somewhere. Maybe I'm praying for Saturday. So you decide, you meet your dream man, you want to move out. How much? You've only lived there 2 months. How much do you owe me? $5,000, right? Every time I see a tenant, that's the first thing that comes to mind. That's 8 G's right there. That's 10,000. Your mind will start thinking a little bit better. Because one thing that I learned from a really good landlord was when they don't pay me, they're stealing money. When they don't pay me, they're stealing money out of the church, out of my baby's mouth. Okay? I think you get a little amped up, right? If I took your wallet, you probably punch me in the face. Hey, let me take your wallet. Boop. Right? That's what you need to be doing. You need to have that. I can't stand seeing weak landlords, because when you're weak, it translates to everybody else. Now I got to deal with you. I got to deal because you're weak. I got to deal with that funky tenant. And believe me, when they make it to my little world, we to the point. Okay, now we show grace. Okay, how do you handle errors? Number 3 is how do I answer? 9 minutes. We got to speed this up. How do I cancel the contract? We talked about that earlier. How do we communicate? Email, text. Is it recorded? Confusion. I already had a problem with the contractor already. I'm gonna start taking pictures, and she started tearing stuff down, and I didn't want them to tear it down. And at one time in my life, we were rehabbing an add-on, and I'm like, hey, let's just button this up. I came back, the contractor turned it off, ripped the whole add-on off on the east side house. And we had to rebuild the whole add-on. It was a smart little contractor. He got his work for a whole couple weeks. But, that's why you got to write it down. How do you handle errors? You can always test someone's character if they take responsibility. If they make a mistake, how do you handle it? Right? Evictions. Number 1 question to you, how do you handle evictions? What's the process? Then, do they know the law? Okay, there's property managers that don't know the law for evictions. And it changes. It hasn't changed in a long time, but there is a process, and you have to do it specifically to state regulations. And so, do they know it? I would not take a chance with a rookie property manager. What's your tenant approval process? How does that happen? Now, I wouldn't hit them all these questions in a 30-minute meeting, but I would ask him or her, how do you approve it? What's the tenant approval process? And then, do you have a collection process? Where does the late fees go? Who gets the late fees? Who should get the late fees? Anybody want to answer that?
You should. You're the one that
owner?
get paid.
The owner? Skippy, because he's slow on my money. But I've signed contracts with who gets late fees. Have you seen that before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you've seen that. Is it Oklahoma City?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Why they don't collect?
Yeah, I mean, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. This is my asset. I got the insurance in my name. I got the loan on the deal. And because you slow at collecting my money, and you going to get the late fee? Wow. Like, think about it logically. That doesn't even make sense. But people pay it all day long. Now, I'll give you the late fee if you fund me. Oh, go ahead. Fund me out of your account. If you're such a savvy property manager, wouldn't that be a great day? Wouldn't that be a great day? Hey, you're such a great property manager, sir. Absolutely. Guarantee me the rent. You so good, 10% above market. Oh, let's just go 20% just to be safe. Because I run all my calculations on 70 just to be safe. Right? Wouldn't it be great? Then he can be late all he wants and deal with them. Anyway, how do you collect the money? How do you handle maintenance? Maintenance is a big thing, man. Maintenance can turn or burn or melt you down, even if it's not documented. And make sure the person that is doing your maintenance is taking photos and communicating, because that may come up in a court one day.
You need to make sure they contact you and will allow you to do your own if you want to.
Oh, the property manager?
Use your own contractors and not use their people.
Yeah.
You have to have that option built in there.
Yes. So when I took over these properties, I was like, nope, your maintenance ain't touching it. My own maintenance is doing it. Okay? Because I have a great maintenance team, and they know that we're thrifty. We try to save as much money as possible, within reason. Unless it needs this and it's going to save for the next 10 years, then we'll spring for that extra $10 item. Okay? But you can put that in the contract if you're going to sign a contract. At any time, I can take over my maintenance. Or set a parameter where anything that's $500 or less or something that they can handle. In my world, it's $1,000. They can do anything up to $1,000 without any kind of, within reason. Now, if they're flunky and they're like, we're going to get $60 outdoor lights, that should be $3 lights that you can buy at Lowe's. The outdoor light, no, that's only $3. That's like my favorite purchase. Oh, let's go buy one of those. It's $3. The little globe. Imagine somebody spending $60, right? I mean, just only if he's going to try to sell them. And do they mark up stuff like their time? No. And then 10. How to request? I don't know. But the thing is, you got to think about it like this. So now we kind of beat the property manager up a little bit here, and it's kind of funny. Now, granted, the reason why I'm not a property manager, there is no money in this game.
That's right.
There's no money in this game. You'll never be wealthy being a property manager. No, that's why they're not even in here now, because they're out working. Only the wealthy people are in here.
That's why they have to resort to.
Only wealthy people can hang out. I volunteer on Thursdays. When I roll up to this volunteer, they're all either super senior citizen, got nothing going on, or they're all platinum with all these Mercedes. Well, we're teaching kids in the inner city how to read. I mean, it blows my mind, right? And one guy was an oil guy, and Devin said he cannot leave early anymore to volunteer because it affects his job. Wow. Right? We're trying to change the community, but we're penalized. So wealth can't be built through property management. It's an intensified job. So think about that when you're beating them up, or think about that when you're hiring them, and you might want to be a little graceful when they don't get back to you. Now, if they don't get back to you in 2 weeks or 4 or 5 days, you might want to look for another property manager. All right, any questions? Any comments?
Stephen's ever waited 2 weeks for anything in his life.
There is
3 minutes.
There are property managers. They're nationwide. They're not true Oklahoma managers, and they're terrible because their home office isn't here. They just are.
That's interesting. She's saying out-of-state property managers may affect what you're doing. They don't know the rents. Laws are different, but they may know the laws. But they're just not local. They're a nationwide company. There are a lot of commercial people who are like that. Any other comments, questions? Everybody's happy?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Or a comment, really. I am an insurance agent and a landlord. So when they're doing these repairs.
Well, what's your name? And we got a card.
I'm Curtis,
Are you an independent agent?
Yes, I am.
My favorite kind of people.
I love me.
Independent people.
So, but I own several properties, and so whenever property managers do any work, I expect receipts. And because as an insurance agent, let's say if you replace a water heater or anything like that, you have to the age of your home, and that way your insurance agent should actually get a copy of the receipt too. So if you're doing wiring, plumbing, anything that would actually cause the age of and condition of the house to be newer, you should definitely make sure you work with your agent on that because it's important.
Give before and after.
I don't mind
pictures
paying
and
extra
serial
for
numbers.
you know, I work within this company, and you know they charge a percentage on getting material. They figured it out that they're not making any money by the time it takes to get in their truck, drive over there, and add the 20% on the tab.
Right.
Stop that. Put that back on the landlord. Get savvy. Get online. Get a Lowe's coupon, chomp. Go on. I just did the other day. It was awesome. Got my little coupon.
Pull the order.
Order all my stuff. I sent it down there. Dude picked it up. Never saw him. He's on the job site. The cabinets are hung. I did all that in my, underwear. Having fun. You see me on Facebook. My kids. I'm in my underwear too. Video. You just can't see me. Daddy Ball's got to be in too.
Your Superman PJs.
It's cool when your boy's like, Dad, I got underwear like you. I was like, yeah. It's cool when you look. This man has no clue. He has no idea that his dad's something wrong with him. He has no clue. You're not supposed to be cool about underwear. He doesn't know he's coming in there and it stinks. Yeah, you don't know. All right, that's it. No other comments?
Ask them how they show the house because some of them will just give anybody the combo.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's been a debate for years. Like when I started 20 years ago, lock boxes were just the common thing. Signs out front were the standard. Well, don't put a sign out anymore because that's a target. But if that property manager is lazy, what is he going to do? He's going to put a sign out there.
We have a copy of
Be
your
prepared to that.
license
And then there's a huge debate on should you let him into the property without you being there. I would just say it depends on the property and the size and the cost, But if you're paying for it, you should ask them, do they give out the code?
They have leasing. How many leasing agents do they have per unit? Per number?
Yeah, that's another great question. How many people are under you? How many people are they managing?
It says 100 properties for one leasing agent. There's no way they can get around, show them all, and get them leased.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
They come in the office, leave a copy of their license, spend $20 and get a key, and they get it back with a big key.
Years ago when I was by myself, remember I ran 50 units 10 hours a week.
Door unlocked.
Okay, I can prove it to you. I have it all written down to a T. It's possible. But I had leveraged every technology I could. And I made the people text me their ID, and then I text them a code. There's lock boxes I can change codes with. I have there's alarm systems that are cellular. I have it down to a science. I have a property right now that's not near me, that's in another state. I manage that property I manage that property myself, and it's really easy. I have Simply Safe. I have a wireless internet. I have a wireless lock. And I show the property, manage the property, contracts. Tenant broke something the other day. I called the glass company. They came out, opened it up. And then my wife was like, "Ooh, we should probably have them remove the glass because someone can die." I'm like, call them right back. "Hey, would you mind taking the glass with you?" "Yeah, no problem." But I didn't think that way, right? I was just trying to fix the problem. That's what men do. I got to fix it. Yeah, I found the glass, found the sizes, send the dude over there, but then there's it was a table glass, 6 foot by 4 foot table that they've just partied too hard down there. Okay. You gonna pay. I'm gonna make the phone call, and how much I charge for that phone call? Thank God I got everything Google Drive. Oh, it's 72 and a quarter inch by a quarter inch, blah, blah, blah. How much I charge for that phone call? How much? $25? $50 for my time. For a 5-minute phone call, I charge them $50.
Hey,
Right.
$10 a minute.
And there was $180 for the glass, and then they charged me $50 to deliver it, and I charged $50 on top of that to orchestrate that whole deal because I had to put my credit card down. I had to take the risk. They tried to skip without letting me know that you smashed my table. We won't fix that. And just the new people were coming in on Saturday, and they had a brand new table. They didn't even know that something went down last week. I don't know how you can break a glass table.
So how did you find
Dancing on it.
Huh? Cleaning lady came in and said, "Hey, bing, 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 you got some problems here. Banister broken off." I'm like, whoa, what's really going on? This is what happens because he was under 25 or 27. I got a whole new Airbnb thing. See you later. Put your hands together.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.